Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is a bit of a random cleaning day and I'm gonna take you guys along for the ride. I thought maybe you can have me in the background, keeping you company while you do your cleaning, give you a little cleaning motivation. But today I'm gonna kind of tackle things that I've been meaning to tackle for a while. For example, one of the things on my list is my oven. It's absolutely disgusting. We've made bacon a few times in a row now and the bacon fat has just splattered everywhere. It's just, it's caked on. It's really bad. It's gone really bad. So I usually tackle my oven like the more natural way. I'll use like baking soda, lemon. I'll let it soak with hot water, like some steam. But because it's gone so bad, I was actually at the store and I thought I would try Easy Off. So I just purchased a can. I've never used it before. I've had cleaning ladies in the past come help me and they've used it and it's worked pretty well, but I've heard of people like burning themselves like with the chemical. So I was a little scared, but this one says fume free and it's safe for self-cleaning ovens. So I thought I would give it a shot. It says to spray it about 20 to 30 centimeters away from the surface and let it sit for like an hour and 15. And then you can just scrub it away. So I'm gonna try this, but yeah, always make sure you read the instructions so you know how to use the cleaning products properly. But before I get started, I'm gonna have a shot of Magic Mind, which is a special mental performance shot. It helps me have a calm energy throughout the day and stay focused. It's one of those things I've added into my routine that is adding to my mental wealth. So the way I like to think about it is I'll do things now that will help me in the future when life gets busy and stressful and I need to have those resources to pull from. So this is one of those little things that I've added to my life. And Magic Mind was actually kind enough to give me a special promo code for you guys that gets you 20% off your first subscription in the next 20 days. The code is AJessica20 and I'll add it in the description down below. So this is what I'm working with. You see the glass is just disgusting. It's full of grease that's caked on and burnt on. So I need to deal with that. And then over here, there's some black stuff that I'm hoping will come out. So I'm gonna start by removing the racks and start by spraying everything down. I tried to fully saturate the oven with the Easy Off just to make sure everything gets cleaned properly. And although it says fume free, I found that I was more comfortable with the hood fan on to get any of the fumes pulled away. I'm pretty sensitive when it comes to strong smells and strong chemical smells especially, so I just felt safer having some air circulating. Also, I was really careful not to get any of the product on the floor, and just as a precautionary measure, I made sure to wipe down the floor around the oven door as well. I liked that I can see exactly where the product was applied. Hey Siri, timer for an hour and 15.
1 hour and 15 minutes starting now.
So as that is baking away, I'm going to go upstairs and fold some sheets that need to be folded, make the beds, and I'll see what else needs to get done. When I'm cleaning and the kids are around, I'll usually have music playing out loud. That way it's a fun experience for everyone and I get to interact with them. But when they're at school and it's just me, I'll usually put a podcast on or some kind of educational YouTube video. I'm always trying to better myself in different avenues, whether that would be work or investing or just being more positive in general. And sometimes I'll have that playing out loud, but when my husband is working in the office, I can't really have a podcast blasting throughout the house. So I'll just put the podcast in my AirPods and listen away as I work. And I think that's what makes homemaking enjoyable. You have to sprinkle in things that interest you in between or make you better, because it's easy to get stuck in the routine of doing the same things over and over again, and that can get hard sometimes. But if you make it enjoyable, then it's something you can look forward to and see as a blessing. I started by making the beds because I feel like it's the first thing that makes the biggest impact and it instantly makes the house feel tidy. And so I started making the kids' beds and then I moved on to making our bed. I sometimes go all out and I'll put all the decorative pillows on the bed, but today was one of those days where I just needed to get the beds to be neat and to be done quickly so I can move on to the next thing. We had some friends stay overnight on the weekend, and so I had to wash the sheets afterwards. And when I wash the sheets, I like to put them on the banister upstairs to dry. And that's because it helps with adding a little bit of humidity into the air. And also I find it helps keep the sheets looking better versus putting them in the dryer. I find when I put the sheets in the dryer, they shrink and they get all tangled and they're not as crisp. I just love jumping into nice crisp sheets. Let me know in the comments down below if you prefer thick, crisp sheets or softer, silkier bedding. I'm also in the market for new sheets for the guest bedroom, so if you guys have a good recommendation for good quality cotton sheets, let me know. When folding the fitted sheet, I like to start by grabbing the corners of the sheet on one end. So I'll grab the one corner of the sheet from the outside and put it on my hand and join it with the inside of the other corner. I'll do the same for the other two corners, and then I'll fold the sheet to make it as square as possible before folding it into thirds again. Next, I needed to tackle some laundry that I had just washed, so I took it out of the dryer and quickly folded it. And that's a thing when you do a load, maybe not every day, but as soon as you have enough to have a full load and you put it away right away, then it doesn't pile up and it's easier to tackle. Don't get me wrong, this is not always the case for me, but I find if I try to stick to a schedule like that, where I make sure I fold and put one load away before washing the next one, then it's a lot more manageable. I also like to wash most of my clothes inside out. That way there's less wear and tear on the clothes as they're washing. The next thing I'm tackling is our humidifiers. We use these at night to add some extra humidity in the air. Because of the heating, the air gets really dry and I feel like it helps us breathe better overnight. I clean my kids' ones more regularly, but this one has been meant for us, but it's been just sitting here in the corner. I've been putting off cleaning it and it's gotten really dusty and gross, so I'm gonna spray it and scrub it down and see if I can use it tonight. A lot of the newer humidifiers will come with these little brushes that help you clean all those little nooks and crannies. But I like to use an old toothbrush that I have just for cleaning, and that way it goes a little bit quicker and I can scrub the larger surfaces of the humidifier. I have to say I dread cleaning these humidifiers every time, but once it's done, I love knowing that we're breathing in clean air as opposed to dusty or moldy air. I know there are humidifiers that you can attach directly to the heating system of the house, but it makes me wonder how you can keep them clean. If these little humidifiers have to be scrubbed down every week, essentially, I would be scared to see what's inside of those larger humidifiers. I don't know, it's something I would have to look into further. I have some distilled water here that I recommend using so you don't get that calcium buildup in your humidifier, and I like this Honeywell brand because it's got a nice wide opening here where you fill up the water and it's easy to clean inside. The other two models that I have in the kids' bedrooms, the opening is much smaller, so it's almost impossible to get in there and clean it. So if you're looking for a humidifier, this is a good one. gonna finish cleaning the last humidifier. I still have some time before I can check on the oven, and so I think I'm going to tackle vacuuming the house and mopping. Hopefully I'll have time to mop before going to pick up the kids. The baseboards were looking kind of dusty, so I thought I would quickly vacuum all the dust up. You can also do this with a Swiffer or a large duster that's on a long handle, so you don't have to bend down. But because I had the vacuum out anyways, I thought I would do it with a vacuum. One thing I would say is that whenever you're dealing with dust, try to remove the dust first, either by vacuuming it or wiping it down with a dry cloth, but never wet a dusty surface because it just makes everything so much messier and it makes it way harder to pick up the dust. One of my favorite things is to have clean floors, and I absolutely hate stepping on the floor and then feeling crumbs on my feet. It's honestly one of my biggest pet peeves. Let me know if anybody else is like that. But I also get great satisfaction when I'm vacuuming and I can hear the debris being sucked up by the vacuum. My husband thinks I'm crazy because it gives me such a high, but please tell me I'm not the only one. And of course, the day wouldn't be complete without having to strain up the pillows again. It's a never-ending battle in our house, and I think with any household that has kids. Thankfully, I had time to quickly mop the main floor before having to go and pick up the kids from school. I love this spin mop. It gets most of the water out of the mop head and makes sure that the floors dry relatively quickly. So I'll use really hot water with a little bit of powdered Tide. And I also make sure to change the water relatively often, because if your water is black, then you're not cleaning your floors. You're just essentially spreading more dirt around the house. So I'll dump the dirty water into the toilet and then refill it with some more hot water and a little bit more Tide. It amazes me how dark the water can get, even though I try to mop the house at least once a week. After picking up the kids from school, I got to work on tackling the oven, and I started by trying to clean the oven door and the glass on the door as well. I have to say, I don't know if it's because maybe I had left the oven dirty for too long, but I was struggling a little bit with the caked on grease, and I found I needed to add a little baking soda just to give myself a little extra scrubbing power. And here's my little girl sitting next to me. She's just the sweetest. She loves to help me whenever I'm in the kitchen or whenever I'm doing any chores around the house. She loves to give me a helping hand. Oftentimes, it's just easier to do chores by myself and just get it done quickly, but it's such an important learning opportunity for my kids, so I try to get them involved in day-to-day tasks as much as possible. They recently learned how to make their bed, and so on the days where they're not at school or on the weekends, I'll help them make their beds, and they take such pride in having made their bed. Hopefully that lasts. The Easy Off did a pretty decent job at cleaning the glass, even though I had to really scrub and scrape everything really hard. Once I finished cleaning the door, I started cleaning the inside of the oven, and I was so surprised by how much easier the inside was getting cleaned as opposed to the glass. I'm really glad I wore old clothes for cleaning today because I really got into that oven and was scrubbing away, and thankfully I didn't have to worry if I was going to damage my clothes. I actually have some stains inside the door, behind the glass of the door, that I need to get clean, but I'm not sure how to go about it. I know there's a way to open the door and get inside the glass, but I'm just scared of opening it up, cleaning it, and then not being able to put it back together. I just finished scrubbing down the oven. It looks so much better. It's not 100%. I just didn't have time to concentrate and sit there and scrub some more, but I left on the easy off for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I feel like it did a pretty good job at removing all the baked on grease that was on there. I feel like it worked better on the painted part as opposed to the glass, like on the door. But I do feel like it dulled a little bit the finish, so I don't think I'm gonna be using it again, although I'm pretty happy with how it cleaned. I think what I'm gonna try and do is, as a personal goal, just try and clean it more often, just the way I've been doing it all along, just with some baking soda, a little bit of lemon, hot water, and some good elbow grease. But yeah, I mean, you don't know if you don't try, so that was my experience with the Easy Off. I really hope you guys enjoyed this random cleaning with me video and used it as motivation to get the things that you've been putting off to get them done. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and hit subscribe. I post a new video every week on homemaking tips, cleaning motivation, and delicious recipes the whole family will love. And don't forget to check out Magic Mind. I do have that special promo code for you guys that gives you 20% off your first subscription in the next 10 days. And I'll see you guys next week.